So you can see that to get true bridging leaders to come accept this award is something of a struggle, because they know and acknowledge that there are always people on the other side of the bridge and backing them up on their side of the bridge. So bridging isn't just an individual thing. But still, I believe that we need to raise up visibility for people who are doing this difficult work of bridging. And that without that, it's not going to make it obvious to people, whether on the street or in a community or in a boardroom or in government, that without the kind of collaboration and participation that the two of you represent, we're not going to make it. And you alluded to that, Peter. So I'd actually like to start by saying, just for Synergos, the issues that have been mentioned tonight, the importance of trust, the importance of reaching out beyond divides, the importance of humility and not just grasping for the credit for everything, are fundamental to everything we believe and everything we do. And so I'd like to start with a difficult question to both of you, which is, we have on the one hand community organizations, NGOs, et cetera, and then we have the boardrooms and the businesses that are sometimes playing constructive roles and sometimes not. How, in each of your experience, maybe you can name one or two examples where actually reaching out beyond the divide that you each represent has made a difference? And from each of your perspective, what is needed more in terms of, how can we bring these two large forces together? Farwiza, would you like to start?
Sure. You would like to start the conversation from the most difficult question. In our experience, one primary similarities between civil society network and large businesses is it's run by people. And to remember that we are human first, before anything else, becomes so important in building that connection. I remember the days and weeks and years of campaigning against large corporation sourcing oil palm from the Loiser ecosystem. And through multiple conversations, having to learn that they themselves did not fully understand their supply chain, did not fully have a clear picture where these oil palm are sourced from, if it comes from protected areas, if it comes from high biodiversity value areas, and sharing that information and that data with them, allowing them to make better decisions. But then also the consumer power. When people out here care and push and demand companies to make a difference, then they respond to what the consumer is asking for. And for us, civil society, also oftentimes we are seen as simply being troublemakers. But being in the room and having that conversation, allowing us to see each other more as a human being with interests, allow us to build that bridge.
That's such an important point. When you can actually meet and see each other as human beings, that sometimes does shift things. Peter, from your perspective, what would you say?
Well, I was listening to what Camille said, that one of the priority areas for Synergos is food system transformation. I mean, I represent large global business. There is no system where business is more hated and distrusted than the food system. So I took on a role for Amina Mohammed, the Deputy Secretary General of the UN, to lead business into the UN Food System Summit. I think the first time was 5 years ago. It was a complete disaster the first time. We had to negotiate which business person was allowed to be in. Last year we were for the third Food System Summit, Addis Ababa. It was complete change. And why? Because the people saw each other, like to your point, for the third time. And actually, the people from business, the ones who were hated more than and distrusted more than any other stakeholder there, were making sensible contributions and had done things that they had promised to do a couple of years ago. So building trust, I mean, it's not just people meeting people, it's building trust is a very slow process, but once you build it, you can bridge.
Very good points. Just so we can get to know your lives a little better, I want to ask a more personal question to each of you. I'll start with you, Peter. So you have a global network. You're based in Geneva, is that right? Yep. How do you manage your days? And what is the sort of variety of what might happen to you on any given day?
Well, they start early, they end late. Too many of them are spent in aeroplanes. Because that's the one mistake I made. If you run a shop called The World, whatever, it's a bigger place than the word suggests. No, but I mean, it's a couple of things. You know, every week there's at least 8 CEOs on my call list, mostly uncomfortable ones, but always with good conclusions. There's speeches, there's too many conferences these days, so you get to do a lot of that. And then we run a 300 people shop, which is a bit different than 160,000, I know, right. But a lot harder to manage, I can tell you. In like 8 offices around the world, so that takes time. And then the one thing you need to try, I think every leader needs to find time and space to make yourself uncomfortable. I am now trying to find my way in AI because I'm extremely concerned about it. But before you start talking about it, you need to kind of know what it is you want to speak about. And that's pretty uncomfortable, but nice.
Thank you. Peter, I'll just ask you this next question. Was it harder running a company with 160,000 employees or running a network with, what did you say, 300 employees? But
yeah, no. The organization is not for profit, and you hire the smartest of young people with a deep purpose in either climate, nature, or inequality type topics. That's a hard bunch to manage because just talking about the budget and maybe a little bit more here and a little less there is like riots. The other problem is it's a 240 member list. And if somebody pays you member fees and he or she is CEO of a large machine, they're not quite used to no. So you end up with 240 bosses. But no, I mean, it's super fun. The 160,000 machine was fun too, but it's a lot simpler to manage because your staff is bigger. The automatic systems work a little easier and stuff. But
thank you.
This one is purpose, that gives energy.
Thanks for that. You mentioned in your remarks, Farwiza, that, and actually Peter, you did too, that building trust is a slow process. Can you say, oh, well, wait, I wanted you to answer the same question first, then we'll come back to this. So, I mean, you are part of the time in the forest, part of the time probably visiting government people, traveling. How are you managing your life? And I would want to add to that, do you ever get any downtime?
You know, Peggy, I become forest conservationist initially because I cannot be marine biologist. So I thought I'll be spending all my life underwater. But then in alternative to that, I think I was going to spend my life walking around the forest. But in reality, I spend way too much of my time in front of a computer. But of course, like what Peter said, a lot of the days are quite varied. And some of my favorite days I spend with local communities who are protecting their forests, who are feeling empowered. Just yesterday, I got the news that one of the community members that we train mobilizes massive protests to shut down a gold mining company that is looking to take over their village. And those are my kind of favorite days. My last favorite days are sitting in meetings with government. Sometimes negotiating over documents that might seem so minuscule, but have consequences so large, because those documents are the development plan, the spatial plan, the environmental impact assessments, very, very boring things, but very, very important. And not enough of my time I actually spent under the canopy.
And when you are under the canopy, is that when you can get a sense of peace?
The cool thing about the Loiser ecosystem is because it's so vast, many parts of the ecosystem have no signal. So when I get into the forest, I disappear. And that's the best.
I can imagine. So I want to combine a question to you for the moment, Wiza, about the difficulty of building trust and maybe an example of how you do it. And Peter gave a great example. When the groups met for the third time, then that began to happen. But also when you can't. And we've always, when we've studied partnerships for years, and we totally understand that it's not all about collaboration. It's also sometimes about conflict. And you mentioned, and actually Camille mentioned that you had taken a group to court. So how do you kind of negotiate between wanting to build trust, but then when it's not possible, using conflict or confrontation, both as a way of resolving the issue, but also then when the conflict is over, how do you try to bring things together again?
First thing that we remember in using confrontation is not to backstab people. So we would work in collaboration with government, sometimes sharing our expertise on things that they might not have expertise on, like satellite monitoring. But then often policy and decision making are heavily influenced by economic incentive, by political interests, and sometimes that's not aligned with science or ecological principles. And in instances like this, we would tell the government official if we're gonna file a lawsuit against them. We would tell a company that we would file a lawsuit against them. So it's fully transparent. They know that we are coming for them. It is part of the negotiation. And allowing this transparency, also exercising civil society rights, strengthening the role of civil society to keep government accountable, to keep private sector accountable. And I think in the process of being fully transparent in our communication, in our engagement with them, also allow us to continue building trust, because they know what to expect from us. Of course, they get annoyed sometimes. Of course, sometimes they would go around saying things like, oh, Haka get funding to talk terrible things about their own government. But then they also know that we did not lie, that we would never do that.
So being consistent, transparent, direct, and I guess if it comes back to a negotiation as opposed to a court case, then you're willing to do that.
Precisely. And sometimes court case enables space for bureaucracy to do things that politicians do not want to do.
That's a great insight. Peter, here comes another one at you. You talked about how there needs to be a revolution in capitalism. Do you feel, with all the inequities in the world, that there is room for capitalism to actually shift enough so that the inequities, the climate situation, everything else can actually begin to be resolved through capitalism.
Yeah, I can't say no to that because it's all we have, you know. I mean, I'm not an anti-capitalist. Don't get me wrong. I wear a suit, I wear a tie. It's okay. Capitalism is fine. The problem with capitalism is it only optimizes financial capital and it throws away human and environmental capital. And if we bring that into the equation, not as a triple bottom line, but as an integrated optimization, capitalism will work fine. But it is the decisive fight. And I wouldn't even call it a fight, it's the decisive war that we have to take on and win. Because there is no IRR to save the world. There are lots of energy efficiency and other things we need to do. But if you really fundamentally want to get to where we need to be, we need to change the formula on how we value business assets and whatever else is out there. A more sustainable company ought to have a lower cost of capital. Tell me where in the WACC formula that is. So, that's the fight we're having. It's super intriguing. In 2012, I was bored out of my mind in Rio plus 20. The sixth panel of the day was the guy next to me was in all six next to me. So we made a deal. Whoever comes up with the best one-liner, the other one pays for dinner. So I sat there and I was really smart. I said, the accountants will save the world. I still got the t-shirt. Makes me a hero in the offices of PwC and the likes. But what I mean with that is only once we provide comparable material data to investors can they make better decisions. That's a slow fight. So we have greenhouse gas protocol. We now have ISSB, disclosure standards, works brilliant. So now the real world happens, right? Because this is a war. This is not a walk in the park. ExxonMobil, I don't know if anyone is related. You know, I'm Dutch. There's no diplomacy in our water. So I don't care. ExxonMobil is funding an organization called Carbon Measurement with 30 secondments from their public affairs department. Guess what they're trying to do? And $15 million to say that the greenhouse gas protocol, which has been built over 25 years, is used by 98% of Fortune 2000 companies, is not working. Why? Because they don't want to be held accountable for downstream scope 3 emissions, which in their case is 95% of the emissions out of their products. So they spin a wheel that is 5 times better funded than what the world has built, just to delay the process. That's a war. And as long as we're into that war open-eyed and mobilize funding on the other side to measure up against that, we'll be fine. But that's the world we live in, and that's the fight we're going to go through. But the only way to save what we all care about is we need to get the economy to work for us, not against us.
So our time is ending, but I wanted to mention that there are a lot of younger people in the room tonight and will be with us tomorrow and the next day in our activities. And if each of you could say a word or a phrase or a paragraph of a strategy, a thought, an idea of how they, in their careers, whether they're in business or the social sector or whatever, how they could contribute to joining the two of you in your different ways of behaving, what would it be? Farwiza?
My heart is in the natural world. And I think a lot of us think about conservation as a luxury, as something that we do once we have our economy sorted, once we are wealthy enough. to conserve and protect nature. But we tend to forget that we live in this single planet. We don't have an escape route. And conservation, at the end of the day, is a contract that we have with our living system. And it is our right to take part in protecting nature and restoring our ecosystems. This livable planet that Peter mentioned, yeah, this is all we got. There is no alternative at this point in time.
I love that. It is our right and our obligation. Peter, last word.
Well, I think all young people, step one is always get to know yourself. What are your values? What do you want to do? Step two is make sure you get the right education. Stop going to schools where they teach you shareholder value. Move to the world where you think about integrating the solutions. So even my world, we should stop talking about climate as if it's different from nature, as if it's different from inequality. It's an integrated challenge which we need to address, integrate. And I'm too old to make that shift. I apologize, but the young people, that's where the answer is, integration.
Thank you both so much. I'm sure all of us appreciate it.